Okay, here we are at the lube rack today. Always got the Chevy in here working on it. No, just kidding. It's actually a good truck, but the EGR bypass valve went out. Here's the old one over here. Started having a code for it, so it's about just short of a $400 part. Got the new one. They recommend pulling the cab off or dropping the transmission out to do this one. We watched a video of the guy. It was a little bit of detail, it helped out, but I'm going to go into a little bit more on stuff that he didn't really talk about. So he left, by the time he did his video, so maybe between the two videos it'll help people out, but he had that right there back in there. So basically, this right here is in the truck, and it's bolted up in here like this, and the EGR sits right in between all that stuff. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to undo all this stuff, get that out of the way. Once this right here is out, there's this. And this right here is a bitch. We pulled the sensor out of it, unplugged it, got it completely out of there. There's a band clamp, or this one time at band camp, you know. You got to get that right there out. Then you're going to fight because these tabs are going to catch on that clamp. It will come out. The thing is, you're going to want to get down in there with some pry bars or screwdrivers, kind of push that clamp back out of the way, and then just sit there and wiggle and wiggle and wiggle and wiggle. Finally, it'll clear that right there. If you can find a better way, that's what it took for us. It took about a half hour just to get this out. And that's just because the clamp kept on catching on this little tab right here, and we couldn't get it by it. There's very little room to get it out of there, but it does come out. It will come out no matter what. So then once we got all that out, let's see, where did we put the EGR at? Right there.
There you go.
See it? Right there. So yeah, this right here is the EGR. It sits in there like this, right down up against that stuff. So once you get the bolts, and we did take the air compressor, unbolted it, and it's set in right over here. We just pushed it off to the side. Got the wiring harness all unplugged to get it out of the way. There's a couple bolts down here that you got to get get the EGR off. I know this is a lot of stuff, and we're at about 4 hours into it right now, getting to this point. First time doing it, I suppose if you did it again, it'd be a little faster. But you got to get these bolts out so you can pull this EGR off. Once the EGR is off of it, in the very back, you have these three studs, and they go through right back here. And you can see we put a pry bar in here and we beat the heat shield back. That's the only way to really get to them. But once you get it back, and you're gonna take wrenches, whatever you got. We use some stubbies, some longer ones, some ratcheting. You got to come in from the back side, and you just get on it and just pull. It's all you can do. But they will come out. Spray them down if you have to. We tried spraying it down, but it didn't really help a whole lot because we didn't do it like a day ahead of time. But if you got time to, it's probably not a bad idea to get in there and spray it down a day ahead of time. I don't know. Now we're getting ready to reassemble. So we're going to take the EGR cooler. It's going to slide right back down in there. We're going to tuck these hoses back down in where they got to go. I guess that right there I think we had to undo because there was stuff right through here. So we had to undo one side of this hose to get it out of the way. And that's pretty much it. We'll probably have about another 3 hours back into reassembly. You're going to lose some coolant, but that's what it is.
Beats taking the cab off, which is
Yep.
what GM recommends.
GM, and I get it. If you had the lift and had the stuff take the cab off, it might be a little bit faster, but a little less knuckle braking. But this does do it. So if you're just working in your own garage,
Hard to say that their book rates it a 10.5 hour job taking the.
yeah,
So it's give or take.
yeah, 10.5 hours. What the book says, take the cab off and do this. We're about 4 hours into it. Like I said, we should have. I'm thinking about 3 hours reassembly because getting some of those bolts loose was a little bit hard. Getting them back together should go back together a little easier. But you never know. We might run into some more problems. Hopefully this helps some people out and helps them do this job and not think that it can't be done in your own garage. So